Original.
Hello, and welcome to Web Crawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into some of our favorite mysteries. Each week, we will introduce our topic, lay out our research and findings, reveal some conspiracy theories, and conclude with our own hypothesis. I'm Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stettin.
And I'm producer Maria.
Melissa, boy,
Yes.
who are our new patrons?
We got so many new patrons.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. We have Al, Marina, Lana, Isaac, Evelyn Champagne Queen, Lauren, Shojua, Stephanie, Jack, Drew, Marco, Nettie, O. Townsend, Broham, Christopher, Aubrey, Daniel, and Natalie.
Basically, what's occurred is I am now reading Bigfoot erotica in a Sasquatch mask and a bikini for our Patreon. So I'll be doing it at least once a week. I am currently reading Pounded by President Bigfoot. And it's a story.
She's president?
And there hasn't even been a woman president yet. There's a Bigfoot president before there's a female president.
Of course.
And there's a journalist who, what I think is going to happen is he's going to meet President Bigfoot and one of them's going to get pounded.
Uh-oh.
Only time will tell. So we'll see.
Does he live in the White House or is he still in the forest as president?
No, he's in the White House because at this point, the Sasquatches held a conference and said, we're not mystical, we exist, and we want to live amongst you.
That was his first order of business.
Mm-hmm.
How did he get elected?
How did Donald Trump get elected?
Well, exactly. No, this happened before as all the Sasquatches came out and said, we exist, and then they started to live amongst the people in society and started holding jobs and working places. And then this one Sasquatch was really charming and he eventually became president.
No new taxes.
Oh my God.
And everyone was like, okay.
Sure. Free lunch on Friday. So tune in if you want to hear that story and who knows which story we will read next. Well, today is a huge episode for us. We will be continuing to talk about our favorite and most controversial product,
The Furby.
the Furby. No. McDonald's ice cream machines. In Melissa's amazing episode about why the machines are always broken, we learned about the company Taylor, which has a monopoly over fixing broken machines and manufactures easily broken ones, as well as Kytch, the company that's trying to put repairs back into the hands of the franchises. Well, McDonald's franchises that use Kytch products sign an NDA, I believe, so that they can't release the Kytch product and how it works and things like that.
All of their inside secrets.
The inside secrets. But recently, one of the franchisees gave over the Kytch product to Taylor, who tried to reverse engineer it, do a cease and desist to Kytch. Kytch, in return, has done a restraining order to Taylor. It's a huge debacle in the ice cream world. It is hot news, and we are so lucky because we have Jeremy O'Sullivan and Melissa Nelson, founders and CEO of Kytch, to break down for us what is going down. So let's get into it. Now, for those of you who might not remember from Melissa's episode, here is a little bit of the background. Basically, McDonald's ice cream machines are always out of order. Whether it's the ice cream, McFlurries, you name it, they're somehow rarer than a limited shoe release at Supreme.
Oh.
Wow.
But
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
But even more frustratingly, these machines can't just be easily fixed by McDonald's employees because the error codes are secret and can only be read by a repairman from the company that makes the machine. who is also the only person authorized to fix them. And as we said, this is from a company called Taylor. We also spoke about the website McBroken.com, created by a man named Rashik. And it's an interactive, real-time website which documents which McDonald's have broken machines. What it does is it tries to place an order for a McFlurry or an ice cream, and then if the order doesn't go through, then it says that franchise currently has a broken machine, and then it tallies the total. So I'm on the website right now. 11.21% are currently broken, 24% in New York, 20% in Dallas, 19% in Phoenix, 15% in Los Angeles. Obviously, these are huge amounts of machines that are broken.
A quarter of your machines in New York are broken.
Yes.
That's insane.
Additionally, it only takes 4 to 6 hours to clean a machine. And this should be going on at night when the store is closed, or if it's a 24-hour McDonald's, I'm not sure if those exist, when people are most likely not going to be ordering McFlurries or during breakfast time. The fact that these are broken so often shows that it's not just because they're being cleaned, which is what McDonald's and the franchises say when you can't get a McFlurry. They say, sorry, the machine's being cleaned right now. It's that they're actually broken and they have to call a Taylor employee to fix it. A journalist at Wired, his name is Andy Greenberg, discovered that Taylor actually has an incentive to keep the machines broken. Taylor has a monopoly at places like Wendy's, In-N-Out, McDonald's, obviously. The machine is called the C602, and it has a specially designed one that they use for McDonald's, and it's the only machine that McDonald's has ever used. McDonald's has to sign an agreement that they will only use the Taylor machines for their ice creams, and it's $18,000.
Crazy.
That's
for
a
machine that
penny.
breaks all the time.
Exactly. And to that effect, it breaks constantly. The only person who can repair it is a Taylor employee. It costs $145 for the first 30 minutes of repair, and then each 15 minutes after that is $315.
Crazy.
And according to Taylor's information, they had a revenue of $315 million in 2019, and 25% of their income comes from repairs and service parts. Essentially meaning it's built into their business model. They want these machines to break down. It's all part of the process. Now, it is incredibly important, and we'll get into this, to keep milkshake and McFlurry machines clean. Have you ever had spoiled milk or spoiled yogurt or smelled it? That shit's disgusting. Or left.
It's disgusting.
Even if you spill a little bit of latte in your car and then it's in the sun, the smell of that milk.
Oh, like the center console when it spills out of the cup. Oh,
it's revolting. And essentially these Taylor machines are overheating or not being cleaned correctly, and they're spoiling the milk and serving McFlurries that are ripe. So this is an article from Vice, and I quote, "Soft serve ice cream machines are a breeding ground for disease if they aren't properly maintained. A 2005 NBC News investigation revealed just how dirty those machines can be. Improved machines released after the investigation made the ice cream machines safer, but only if they're maintained, which can be expensive and time-consuming." This is talking about McDonald's specifically in the Taylor machines. "Some store managers and repair techs have learned a trick that bypasses the machine's safety mechanisms." This is called jumping. "This has led to dirty machines that can make people sick."
gross.
Maintenance, disgusting. Maintenance employees can install a quote unquote jumper, a small metal or plastic bracket, on some of the electric pins on the back of the machine to bypass a software system that makes the machine inoperable if it hasn't been cleaned in a certain amount of time. Doing this could make ice cream dispensed from these machines dangerous because it bypasses critical cleaning and sanitation features. So basically, The machine says needs to be sanitized, clean machine, and they just bypass that because it takes 4 to 6 hours or needs to be fixed, and they just continue serving uncleaned product.
That's disgusting. You could do that like every day for like a week, and you just have like this old, gross, warm milk. Ugh.
I'm honestly not ordering milkshakes or
never.
ice cream or anything again.
Never.
It's disgusting. I'm only eating it from artisanal ice cream shops.
I mean, it's probably much safer.
Yeah, or out of the pint. This is disgusting. So this is where Kytch came in, trying to create a product that will make these Taylor machines safer, easier to use, bypass getting these technicians, control the data so that we can ensure the safety of the product and the people who are consuming it. However, Taylor would have none of this, and this legal battle has ensued. So let's chat with Jeremy O'Sullivan and Melissa Nelson, founders and CEO of Kytch, to see what's going on in the war between Taylor and Kytch, which also I think sounds like two football players' names from the show Friday Night Lights.
Or it's one person's, it's Taylor Kytch, who played a football player on
Coach Taylor.
Oh, is that really the name of the actor?
Taylor Kytch.
Oh, no wonder I thought that. I've never seen Friday Night Lights, but
It's Taylor Kytch,
I mean,
and then there's also Coach Taylor.
Yeah.
well, now it all makes sense why my brain went there. Well, none of that has anything to do with our episode. Today, we are all talking about this McDonald's controversy.
And we're going to take a quick break before we get to the interview, so we'll be right back.
Web Crawlers has a Patreon to get access to rewards, Bigfoot erotica, bonus episodes, shout outs, merchandise discounts. Please go to patreon.com/webcrawlers. You can donate as little as $2 a month to become one of our patrons. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star review, we will read it on the show. And also, we will follow you from our Web Crawlers Twitter account. So please DM us your information. Also, Erios has a hotline. Insert jingle here.
626-604-6262.
Please continue to call us. At some point, we will catch up, and we love to play your voicemails. Now, back to the show. First of all, we've already done an introduction, but will you guys introduce yourselves so our listeners know who you are and what you do and what your company does?
I'm Jeremy. I'll let Melissa introduce herself, but
Go ahead.
yeah, we build Kytch, which is an IoT product that attaches to, most notably, the McDonald's ice cream machine, and it works like a smart thermostat does with an air conditioner. So it lets you know if it's on or off, and it lets you have all these cool features, but it basically improves the operational effectiveness of the product.
And I'm Melissa, co-founder of Kytch. We actually started automating frozen yogurt machines. I think you might be able to see some.
I was going to ask about that for sure.
And it just led us down this path. And now here we are trying to improve the shake machine.
So I'm curious how this started. Did you guys knock at a McFlurry one day and you were furious and you're like, I have to fix this. There's there's a need and I'm gonna make sure I get it done.
No, we were actually in DC, and probably in LA, you guys saw the frozen yogurt trend. You'd go into a froyo store and they'd have 8 machines, and you'd pull the handle, serve yourself, walk up to the front, and someone would be there to help check you out. And we thought, hey, why do you need 1,500 square feet to do this, right? Can't you just shrink the store around this one machine? And so that is what we set out to do. And when we put them out in Silicon Valley, we realized, oh my God, there's so many problems with this machine that we couldn't viably continue the business. So we had to make some tech to improve the equipment such that we could succeed with our own business. And then we realized, oh my gosh, on the internet, there's this meme. There's so many problems that McDonald's franchisees are experiencing. Why don't we use what we developed and sell it to them?
Amazing.
And to fill in a little bit, when we walked into the Froyo store in DC and realized that everything basically revolves around this one machine that kind of does everything, right? Like you don't need 1,500 square feet for this little tiny machine. You don't need all the real estate, all of the people to swipe the card and hand you the cup. Like once we realized that everything focused around this machine, we started looking at these machines, and it became clear that there was pretty much only one machine that everyone used. So if you walk into, it doesn't matter, a McDonald's, a Pinkberry, a Red Mango, an In-N-Out, a Wendy's, like a Chick-fil-A, like everyone's using this machine called Taylor. And so it's like, we were like, well, these guys must know what they're doing. They're clearly not, idiots, right? It must be a robust machine. And so, we reached out to Taylor and we built a relationship like very early on, because it was a pretty obvious synergistic relationship. For every like big green box back there that we built, they would sell another Taylor machine. So it was kind of a win-win relationship that was very obvious. And so fast forward a little bit, we go to, we come to San Francisco, we put out our Gen 2 machine. It does really well. But the problem is that the internal Taylor machine is still disconnected from our own system. And so then we go to China with this HAX Accelerator program where we work on the technology to connect the two. And this is the technology that would become Kytch. We were essentially required to make this technology because of this NSF certification, which requires vending machines that serve a potentially hazardous product like dairy to be monitored, so that, let's just say that there was a power failure and the machines heat up to 100 degrees, which they can do in a hot kitchen, we wouldn't be dispensing a toxic product. So we built a device that was able to grab all the data from the machine, and like Melissa said, we started expanding across the Bay Area. We launched 2 machines at Tesla, 6 machines at Levi's Stadium where the 49ers play. That's when we had ambitions to have 40,000 machines out there, but the data from the 8 machines it foreshadowed something very interesting. It was nothing like we anticipated. It was basically saying, like, it was just so puzzling. It's still hard to talk about today, but yeah, so we were in this situation where we're the only 2 people in the world that are running these Taylor machines remotely.
Wow.
Right. So everyone else has them just right behind them. They're pulling the handle. They're listening to the sounds, but the machines we had at Tesla were an hour drive away. And so all we have is our data to kind of listen to the operational performance of the machine. And the data we collected, we weren't able to reconcile it because these machines were supposed to be robust. They were supposed to be the best, but yet the data wasn't saying that. And so that's when this ice cream machine data, which no one thought could be of any interest, suddenly became really fucking interesting.
Yeah. So you mentioned, these machines can get toxic and dangerous if not run correctly. What was this data telling you?
Yeah. So first of all, that these machines were not as robust as they were sold to be. If you buy like an industrial product, it's supposed to work at a very high level with a very, very low failure rate. The machines that we were seeing, if they were cars, the state of California would have called them lemons, right? If you buy up the 2 biggest purchases of my life up until a few years ago were a $20,000 Honda Accord and a $20,000 ice cream machine.
Shout out Honda Accord.
So one still works like a decade later.
The Honda. Best cars ever.
That's right. The Taylor machines, not so much. These Taylor machines can... So let me just say this, and I think this says everything. The 49ers only have 11 home games, right? So we only ran these machines 11 times. The season after, within the first season or 2, so within 20 days of operation, we needed a Taylor technician to come out.
Oh my God.
But there's something which we discussed in our previous episode. They're almost, forgive the word, tailored to malfunction, correct?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting, right? So, that's where this thing gets really, really interesting, right? Because this thing was a thing before Melissa and I got started working on
Right.
like it was born on the internet. Everyone kept on saying, so many people kept on saying, like, hey, these machines are not working. I'm going to McDonald's. These machines are down. Posture of McDonald's and Taylor is, no, that's not correct. They work. And it's like, and so like a couple years later, more and more people are continuing to say that it's the posturing of McDonald's and Taylor that was, nothing to see here, keep moving. I mean, that's what really solidified this as a meme.
Yeah.
Right. People know, like, people don't like being called stupid, right?
No.
Like, people know when a machine is broken. And so I think that's when you call thousands of people or hundreds of thousands or millions of people effectively stupid over a period of a decade, that's when people really kind of drill down on this. And they're like, no, I know what I'm talking about. There's something to see here. It's weird that a company as big as McDonald's that builds equipment all the time can't get this machine operational. Yeah, so I think, I don't want to take credit for all the work here. I think there was a wisdom of the crowds like a long time ago that discovered this way before we did.
Yeah, grassroots movement. Because there's even that website, McBroken.com, that I think we talked about, where it tracks all the machines that are broken in McDonald's around the United States. And it's like 10%, I believe it said, are broken. So to clarify, what does the Kytch product do to kind of bypass the product or make it easier and safer, these machines?
So it's really just collecting the data and then letting the customer know, hey, here's what we believe is wrong. So say you get an error code product over temp.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What side of the machine has the issue? What happened before that time period where it locked out? So essentially what Kytch does is it just clarifies the error codes, and then it looks at the history of the machine to assess what might go wrong in the future.
That's so simple, and you'd think that that's what the machine itself would do. It's such a simple solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why everything got so weird when we launched these machines at Tesla, at Levi's Stadium. We're sitting on this network of machines that just don't work. And Taylor basically says, like, well, you're not buying enough machines from us to make this worth our while. So, like, we're done with you. And it's like, we're not buying machines from you because they suck.
Right.
We kind of, stopped talking for, I don't know. It just, we end our relationship. And, we released this product that we built to keep these machines operational. And the relationship just becomes so weird so quickly. Like, it goes from amicable, like, emails and cell phone calls. I mean, all of the top guys have our cell phone numbers.
Yeah.
But when we released this product, Taylor was the first customer, right? Like, we released this product.
Right.
Taylor showed up and paid $500 for it. And so we reached out and said, oh, hey guys, like, we clearly know these people. What's going on? And just no response. Then their attorney bought one.
Oh, right. You looked up the name to see, like, oh, who are these people buying these? You're like, wait a minute. These are Taylor people.
They had actually sent us a cease and desist prior from that law firm. So we knew the name from that. And then, we rejected that sale. And then we started seeing people come on with phony names. They would go on Facebook.
See more butts.
See more butts.
Nice. When am I going to get it? And they just wanted it so desperately that it was so unusual. I mean, because Kytch doesn't sell itself, right? People don't knock down your door trying to get a Kytch device. You need to sell them. You need to show them what it can do. So it was just super crazy.
And that's how Melissa detected the private investigators. I mean, we had, first of all, you can get a copy of the franchise disclosure document of Burger King and McDonald's, so you know exactly who your customer list are.
Uh-huh.
So it was a really easy detection to make. I say that, I mean, Melissa made it, of course, but which was awesome. But just they were so sloppy and so aggressive at the same time. Like Melissa said, the biggest indicator is just this sheer desperation of I need a Kytch now, and it's like no one needs like a thermostat now. Right? But that was the start. That was the beginning of Kytch, and we knew a couple of things. Like, one, this is a hard product to sell. We basically had to give them away for free to a lot of people in San Francisco, just because it's like, why do I need a thermostat for an ice cream machine, right? It's kind of a weird thing. But Taylor was so obsessed about getting one. And so we just couldn't reconcile the differential there. It was difficult to, because if any data-driven product, unless you have a ton of data, don't really know what you're looking for in the very beginning. So in getting the first 100 out the door was not an easy thing, but it became easier and easier, especially as we went to the McDonald's conference. That's when
things seemed to quiet down on the Taylor front. But little did we know that one of our franchisee customers who reached out to us after some press we had and said that he was the head of the McDonald's equipment team and wanted to try the product. We did not know at the time that he was actually working with Taylor. We thought that he just earnestly was interested, and this was a huge opportunity.
Sneaky.
And we were elated. We were really excited, right? Because this guy Tyler Gamble, who's this like nice guy, has this nice like charming Southern accent. He's like from Tennessee or Kentucky. Yeah. He could have been the guy that helped us sell 13,000 of these to McDonald's, and that's what we were really hoping for. And so we were really doing everything. I mean, we gave the devices away free of charge for 6 months.
He even recommended it. He got up on stage at one of their events and said that
oh, that's right,
he really liked it. It was a good product. And so it seemed great, right? I mean, who wouldn't think that we would be in 13,000 McDonald's? But a few days later.
That's when everything became, that's when everything changed. Tyler Gamble's recommendation of Kytch was shared by Business Insider. This kind of coincided with McBroken. And so I think for the first time, I mentioned this being born on the internet. McDonald's and Taylor have literally denied any existence of a problem at all. They've always blamed it on their heat cycle, right? So these machines should be down for 4 hours a day, but they shouldn't be down 15 or 20% of the time. That's very different, right? So, and what's crazy is that McDonald's, because of their point of sale system, they actually had the data that McBroken later exposed. So they would have known that these machines are as bad as everyone suspected, but they kept on denying it. But when McBroken came out, it was, the cat was out of the bag. Like all the franchisees were verifying that the data was correct. And then it was like, hey, McDonald's, Taylor, like this wasn't supposed to be a conspiracy. Like what's going on here? And so, we suspect that they thought, okay, oh my God, our secret's out. Everyone's just going to order a Kytch now. Like there's nothing we can do. And so we have to trash their reputation. We have to do everything we can. And so, that's when they sent a message to all of their franchisees saying our product was dangerous.
Oh, right. That's right.
Bodily harm or something like that. That it would void your warrant. I mean, they were saying all this crazy stuff. And what's really interesting is they mentioned that Kytch grabs confidential data. And it's like, oh, confidential data. Well, what is confidential data? Like if you guys have an iPhone or if you have an Android phone, you can go into your really long end user license agreement and figure out what does that mean and who owns what. But with a Taylor machine, you buy these machines like you buy a toaster. There's no agreement that specifies who owns the data. And so they were saying these guys are grabbing the information that we really need to keep secret because it's how we make our money.
Right. Why are they so afraid of you?
Because we know their secrets.
Ooh.
Sick.
And one of the secrets that is no longer a secret is that the machines have a huge propensity to become unsafe. I mean, You know, if you look at that Vice article, you know, it's so weird looking at their statement. You know, you can see what it is for yourself, but it's something like, this thing exists and it shouldn't be, you know, used. And it's like, no. Let's back up. You guys engineered this into your system. Okay. Things just like, if you have a machine, things aren't randomly there, right? Like the secret menu. You don't, you know, like your toaster at home doesn't happen to have a secret that it's not telling you.
Or
right?
does it?
That's what's so interesting. And I think that's what is so sinister about this story, is that this ice cream machine isn't first and foremost an ice cream machine. It's something else. It's absolutely secondarily an ice cream machine. Clearly. But first and foremost, it's not an ice cream machine. It is first and foremost a moneymaker for Taylor. Clearly. And the reason we know that is because if you look at the existence of these W2 pins where you can put a jumper on, which overrides the whole machine to be unsafe. The whole time, you know, there's this memo that dates back to 2013 saying, hey, we know our machines can be dangerous if they're left on this jumper. They've had so many software updates on their machines since then, but they never fixed this particular issue. They never fixed the biggest vulnerability in their system. You know, and by the way, it's a big deal. Like if you get sick from an ice cream machine, you know, it can be millions and millions of dollars in legal liability. And so it's not just an inconsequential thing that they didn't, you know, acknowledge. So the question is why, right? Like why over the last 8 or 9 years, why are you changing your software all the time, but you're not fixing the one thing that you clearly should fix? You're not fixing the one thing that could potentially make people sick. And by the way, you know, in the early 2000s, it made like over 100 people sick in Tampa. Like this emergency room doctor thought, there's some quote. There's like
biohazard.
This emergency room doctor literally said, because so many people were coming to the emergency room from this ice cream machine. He was like, I thought this was an act of bioterrorism. Okay?
Oh my God.
So these machines, if they're not, because dairy can become very toxic very quickly.
Totally.
If this machine is not kept in its rigorous course of temperatures, going from, you know, freezing to boiling and that sort of thing, the dairy can become very toxic. So it's something they should have fixed. There was economic incentive to fix it, but why haven't they fixed it? And that's because it's how they make money, right? So what happens is these machines are essentially programmed to bug out so that they don't work, right? So someone at the store picks up the phone and says, hey, Taylor, our machine isn't working. And then Taylor goes, okay, we'll send out someone. And they send out someone, the technician, to reset the machine. What he does is he puts that jumper on the W2 pins. So that's the second act of this. It resets the machine. The machine works. The technician leaves with their $600 or $700, and that repeats itself every few weeks, every few months, etc.
Yeah, it was something like 30% of their revenue is just repairs or something crazy. Something even
I think
more
it was
than that.
25%. It's just built into their business structure.
Yeah, and that could be low for a lot of reasons, right? Like we're both trained accountants. You can play with the numbers to make that sound a little bit lower. So that's all like one thing, right? But then like, you know, they're clearly getting hit with this lawsuit. It's now known that, you know, their machines are potentially dangerous. But what are these guys doing like in response? They're like, let's just throw ourselves a big birthday party, right? And like that's what they're having their 95th birthday bash. And it's like, how about an apology to all the people that you probably made sick over the years that had no idea? Because, you know, it's very difficult to actually prove food poisoning.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, like, let's say you get sick or your kid gets sick or whatever. And it's like, well, is that the only, you know, you say, hey, McDonald's, I got sick from your ice cream cone. And they're like, well, is that the only thing you had that day? And it's like, of course not. And they're like, well, then you can't prove it. Right. So it becomes this whole very difficult thing to prove. But they're not apologizing. They're not even pledging to fix it because they need that second act, right? They need the ability for their technicians to be able to reset their own software bugs so these machines will work so that they can get paid. And that's why they're not fixing it. So that's how we know that these machines are primarily built to make Taylor money. And secondarily, if and when it's available, and if and when it doesn't actually impact their own pocketbook, they can serve ice cream.
Jeez. So effectively, what does your restraining order say?
This is like a temporary protection against Taylor's
ability to use what they learned from our product.
Yeah, and just their shady initiative to stalk the hell of us and find out everything we're doing. You know, we have Nest cams, clearly. We put Nest cams inside our Frobots to correlate with our machine data. But, you know, we have people creeping around our building. You know, we have franchisees trying to, like, literally begging us to come inside our warehouse and talk to us. And it's so sketchy. It's just so weird. You know, and that's why we're doing this. But it's not getting any less weird. And that's the weird part, right? is like when you catch these people, you would expect them to like slow down. You'd expect them to like get it. They're not.
They're doubling down. Yeah. Oh, Jinx.
I don't know. I think it's the 50. I mean, Taylor has had this awesome thing going. They've been the only show in town. So imagine, you know, you run this ice cream machine company. You're the biggest ice cream machine maker, at least in the US, if not the world. Most of the machines you sell, none of your end customers actually have a choice about your equipment. Like they're compelled to buy them by their franchise agreement. So if you're a McDonald's franchisee or a Burger King franchisee, you can't choose another supplier. Like Taylor has a cushy relationship with the people at the franchise office to make all these restaurant owners buy their equipment, whether they want the equipment or not. They've had 50 years of that, right? Like there was only one place in the US, Dairy Queen, where I think Taylor wasn't at. And like a couple of years ago, Taylor just got that. Okay.
Oh, damn it.
I know.
They got him.
They got him, I know. So, you know, Taylor's had this like 50 years of insulation where they're essentially a monopoly. They can be super shady and do all these terrible things and no one's watching them. And their customers can't go anywhere. They can't be like, hey, Taylor, stop being so shady and terrible. Like they're bound to do it by their franchise agreement. This is the closest thing I've seen to corporate corruption and monopoly. And
it's crazy. Well, you guys are doing God's work. You guys are like the Aaron Brockovich of the ice cream world. If people want to support you or follow you or help the cause, where can they do so?
We just started a crowdfunding campaign because we actually had people, like so many people reaching out to us saying, hey, like I don't have an ice cream machine, so I can't buy your product, but how do I help? How do I support you? And we actually didn't know how to reply for the longest time. It was like, we have no idea, actually. But then we're like, whoa, we could totally crowdfund this a little bit. So we just got our first link up. I believe it's at buymeacoffee.com/Kytch.
Yep. Or you could go to our website and it's right there, front and center.
Perfect. And what is the URL for your website?
kytch.com.
Cool. I just sounded so dumb.
The
All right.
URL.
And the URL, what's the web address in cyberspace for your website? And if people want to follow you online, if you want to be followed or your product, do you guys have a Twitter or Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, we're at Get Kytch.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for clearing this debacle up and for helping eventually get ice cream to the people. And we will keep updated on this because people really love this crazy story about McDonald's and these machines. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. Have a great day. So again, if you support Kytch, please go to buymeacoffee.com/Kytch. It's their crowdfunding campaign, as they said, to keep their fight alive and donate to help them in this struggle to get ice cream to the people. Also, if you have worked in a McDonald's and have dealt with any of these issues, if you have gotten food poisoning from a McFlurry because of unsanitary standards being used by Taylor machines, which we've disclosed about today, please let us know. Or if you secretly work for Taylor and you want to call in nameless, you can even change your voice if you want. Call in and sound like Bane and let us know what's going on. We would love to hear from you. Melissa, where can people reach us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to join our Patreon, baby. All right. I am Allie Oreo McFlurry Siegel, unless it's spoiled rotten, in which case I will pass.
Oh, I am Melissa Taylor Kytch Stetton.
And I'm producer Maria M&M McFlurry all the way, baby, all day, every day.
I got my third Moderna shot. Side note, I got a booster because they're giving it to immunocompromised people at CVS in Los Angeles now. And afterwards, I mowed down an entire bag of plain M&Ms. And let me tell you, I used to be a peanut M&M girl.
Same.
The plain is where it's at.
Wow.
Oh, times they are a changing.
So if you'd like to discuss that, they are changing. If you'd like to discuss that, I know we had a call in about small M&Ms being best, mini M&Ms. But let's also discuss peanut plain. What do you like? All right. Bye, guys.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.